Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett, and along with us again, producer Chad.
Welcome back,
He didn't leave.
Did not leave.
Do you want to know who didn't come, though?
Chris didn't come.
Yes.
Now, you know, Chris also missed out on something else.
Yeah, he didn't come to that either.
What didn't he come to?
Producer Chad's bachelor party.
I mean, it was probably a dead giveaway in the title.
Yes, it's true. He was invited, but had quote-unquote other obligations.
Other obligations. Now, we have already poured a beer.
This is correct.
We will not talk about that beer until later on.
From one of the breweries that we went to.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that.
Cliffhanger.
Massive cliffhanger.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So beginning, it was what, of August?
Beginning of August, yes.
Yeah. 3 of us and 9 others actually ventured to Philadelphia and Baltimore for a couple baseball games and
some craft beer.
We do enjoy a good craft beer.
That you might have seen on our Instagram during that time frame. You might have seen where we were heading.
True. You might already have the inside look.
You might.
All right. Of that, 7 drove, 5 flew. Brett, you and I were in the air.
Yes, we did fly. Spent a lot more time on the tarmac than when I thought we were going to, but
we drove around, but it was at the airport.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's true. Now, Chad was a passenger of a van.
This is right.
So he could enjoy a couple of beers. Now, one perk that they got that we didn't get was that they actually ended up making a stop at the New York Beer Project in Victor, New York. Also has a couple different locations, one in Lockport and the other one in Orlando by Winter Garden, I believe Chad said. So not too shabby.
No.
Tell us a little bit about that, Brett.
Well, the venue on Untapped has over 20 taps. That's what, according to Untapped, the venue has 20 taps, I should say.
Well, and Chad.
Yeah. And it did have tap at one time, yes.
1, 2.
I'm pretty sure he had all of them. Anyway, a nice modern space with lots of room with a small patio and good food. Chad had a couple flights and a burger. Sounds about right.
Very good.
But you want to know what he did not have?
Well, before that, I think there's some other information that they did that we didn't do, right?
Oh, yes, there was a ball game.
They stopped at another ball game. There was a minor league ball game.
Was it the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs?
It was.
And the Buffalo Bisons.
Your Buffalo Bisons.
A lot of meat.
A lot of meat between the two.
Going on there.
Some interesting things just from that. I think the game was actually really good. Again, we didn't see it because we were
sleeping.
We were sleeping.
We had an early flight.
We had an early flight the next morning. I saw one of the guys, Scott Ernest, I believe.
Yes.
Had a thing of corn, an ear of corn.
Yes. It looked delightful.
The guy is an anomaly.
Yes, that's true.
Between that and a baseball bat of beer that cost him $35.
Yeah, you got it. American, so it's about 55 Canadian.
It's true.
But you want to know one thing that they missed out on that we had?
What did we have?
A pint at 7 a.m. at Pearson.
We sure did. It was a good pint.
It was a good pint, yes.
We were making
lovely and a lovely breakfast.
Some decent photographs of both the front and back of our heads.
This is true. This is very true, yes. Had to get it from all angles.
All angle picture. Now, on the back end, we also stayed an extra night because our flight got canceled. So we went to Bar Louie in Virginia.
Yes, to have a couple other beers. And I got a funny story to tell you about that whole situation at the end here. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about...
Ooh, I'm excited.
Right? We're going to talk about Philadelphia. So obviously we landed, we got through customs, blah, 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 blah. Got our car rental. And then we met up with Chad and the rest of the fine young lads. And then
some of them weren't young,
and then his dad. No, I'm kidding.
Carlos is a little bit older too.
That's true. Actually, Carlos is only like maybe 40, not even.
Yeah. No, wow.
Anyway, so
definitely older than some of the other kids on the trip.
So a few rookies and a couple seasoned veterans.
Yeah,
anyway, so we first hit up Human Robot, and this is where we discuss Carlos and his awful decision making.
Terrible decision making.
So there was a herb shot thing.
Well, before we get to that, let's discuss what we had.
I guess we did have the first, and then
we should discuss the order of operations here. First, we had a milk tube shot
that apparently was beer. I don't think I rated that very high. Give me 1 second.
It was good, but again, it
was not good.
It was all right. It was all right.
It was not good.
It was a lot of head honor, for sure. But we'll post the picture of that on the Instagram so everybody can see it. The mistake from Carlos came after that, and when you have something called a milk tube shot, the last thing you want to have is a Underberg, which is an herbal shot, which tasted like absolute medicine. Wasn't too bad. But it wasn't good at all.
So my thought process was, if you're having that, turb shot thing with the milk tube shot. Underberg, sorry.
Yeah.
You're thinking, what in God's green earth did we get ourselves into?
It was a terrible morning.
Yes.
It does say after a good meal, you should have this herbal shot. It's 44%. We didn't have any meal.
Yeah.
I think actually I did save my cookies from the flight.
Yes, you did.
So I whipped them out to have it with it because I need
Now,
something.
after that, things got a little bit on the up and up because obviously we did have some other beers that Human Robot provided that were half decent, including a couple IPAs.
I'm going to start drinking one right now.
Yes. And then we went to the next brewery, which is the one that we have in our hands, and that is Other Half. Mm-hmm. Obviously, many locations in the States, but Other Half, there is a big location in Philadelphia. So the one that we are drinking actually is all Citra everything. And what you can guess from this is that a lot of Citra hops. Almost all of them.
All of them.
So it is a hazy imperial IPA, triple dry hop for Citra Week. Obviously, this is made during the week of Citra, highlighting a single hop variety of Citra, notes of plush citrus like orange, grapefruit, lychee, and mango come through. Obviously, Other Half, is a very nice staple in the States, and all their beers are rated very high. But
show me that can.
Yes, I'll show you the can right there.
Can for a second.
So obviously after that, we
what slow
hey,
slow down.
okay.
We're just not going to be rhyming this all off, having a 2-minute episode. So yeah, 8.5%.
Oh yes.
This is it's a nice beer. It's 4.39 overall and 53,000 check-ins. So we just want to slow Brett down just a little bit before he gets ahead of himself.
Yeah.
Other half, good brewery, very clean aesthetic.
Yes.
A lot of white all over the place.
The online ordering aspect of things did throw a couple people off.
Well, I think some people were trying to be cheeky with that, right? Mm-hmm. And throw in like, oh, Tyler Jr., which then really confused the person bringing over like, oh, I've got a flight for Tyler. Or Tyler Jr., and nobody knew who actually ordered it. So
exactly.
I think that was more of an S error, but a lot of TVs in there.
Yep.
Again, kind of a modern kind of appeal to it. Very grain and grit-esque. I kind of go back to that. Just very, very clean, very nice. Parking was interesting. We had to do some parallel parking.
I believe between myself and Chad's dad, Randy, who is driving the vehicle, we probably did like 48 turns.
48 turns.
Parallel park.
And one ugly face in their backup camera for that.
Yes,
too.
yes. Don't worry, I was not driving and on the backup camera at the same time.
No. Hey, self-aware. I like that.
Yes.
So that's Other Half.
Yes.
All right. So then the next one.
We went to our hotel. Checked in.
We did go back to the hotel.
Got some nice shirts.
Some nice shirts we did. Yeah, absolutely. And then after that, we went to a place called Monk's Café. Monk's Cafe, very tiny, a little more long than wide. Decent wait staff there. Though one of them is a comedian. Actually, found that out. But yeah, I don't think they don't take reservations.
No.
I don't think they really particularly enjoyed having 9 of us.
Yeah, just a group of 12 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday.
Yeah, it would show up, and then have 3 or 4 of us kind of lingering after the 9 are already there.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, it is what it is. And
had a nice mac and cheese, which randomly had peas in it. But anyway, that's besides the point.
I didn't have any food there, actually.
No, I was too full from those cookies.
I know. I was saving it for the ball game. But yeah, we did have the Pliny the Elder.
Yes, so the Pliny the Elder is kind of one of the most checked in, highest rated beers in all of the States. So it is a 8% Russian, 8% Imperial IPA from Russian River, which is actually in California, but it's one of those things where it's only at that location outside of California, that specific location, Monk's Cafe. I don't know what kind of relationship they have with Russian River, but they have a good one to get that. So we all actually had Pliny the Elders. So, brewed with Amarillo, Centennial, CTZ, Cascade, Warrior, and Simcoe hops, while balanced with malt, hops, and alcohol, slightly better with aromas of citrus, pine, and floral. 281,000 people have checked this one in at a rating of 4.5. However, we thought it might have been just a little bit overrated.
Yeah.
I only gave it a 3.75. And yeah, it was one of those things. It was a beer that definitely put some hair in your chest. But I thought for all the hubbub and all the things behind it in terms of the Untappd ratings and how everybody swears by the beer, and maybe it was just a bad keg or the end of the keg or something like that. But yeah, I just don't get me wrong, it was still good. but not held up to the holy grail, if you will, of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think I gave it the highest rating out of everybody, and I gave it a 4.25. I thought it was good, but I was expecting it to be like a 4.75 easy, you know what I mean? 4.5 at worst.
Yeah.
So even a 4.25, I mean, that's a very good rating, don't get me wrong, for myself, but it doesn't meet that 4.5 and above. And again, it is what it is.
Good beer, just thought it'd be a little bit better. So, but speaking of better, we did get out of there, and we did end up making our way to Citizens Bank Park, which has quite the view of the Philadelphia skyline. I will also say, once you get out of downtown Philadelphia, it's much better.
It's true. Easy to park.
That's for sure. Even if you're 20 minutes away from the ballpark.
Do you want to talk about the game a little bit?
Yes.
Let's talk about the game.
Yes.
Who did they play?
Kansas City.
They did play Kansas City. And, I mean, when we look at this matchup, pre-baseball season, you're thinking that, Philly's going to win this one hands down.
It's true.
Now, I will say that I think we are single-handedly responsible for Trey Turner turning his season around.
Yep.
But, it was a good ball game. I ended up with a bit of a headache. Sometimes that happens. I think just the depressurization after the flight. And I was also trying to wheel and deal a house deal. So
it's true. And then also you were, third level, first level, kind of alternating back and forth levels.
We're up, down, all around. I did have a Philly cheesesteak there.
Yes.
I thought it was good. A lot of other people thought it was mediocre. Now, some other people...
I had a hot dog there.
You had a hot dog.
It was definitely very mediocre that did not pay dividends.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
But,
the next day. We'll talk about that when we get to Baltimore.
Citizens Bank did have quite a few craft beer selections available. So obviously, being who we are, we definitely dabbled in as many of them as we could within reason.
Yep. We did have a really good conversation with an usher there, actually, before the game started. We were down at the basically field level and had a good conversation. It was nice to kind of walk around and see the ballpark because that's why we're there, right? So It was good. All right. So that basically concludes really Philly, right?
Yes.
Things happen quick.
We went to, actually, there's one part that we went to afterwards, Xfinity Live, which had Mango Cart, which is producer Chad.
Wait up, my dude.
What?
Pump the brakes.
Do you want to talk about the walk from Citizens Bank to Xfinity Live? Like, what are we doing here?
Pump the brakes, my fellow friend. Just you wait 1 second, all right?
Okay.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about that, but you've already ruined it, so we might as well just go ahead and talk about it now.
Please do. Yes.
It was one of the things that I was going to mention later on down below when we kind of recap, but I'll just do it now. One of my favorite beers, if not the favorite beer that I had, as well as I think producer Chad had, wasn't actually from a brewery at all. Where we had it, and it was the Xfinity Live, so it was the Mango Cart. But I was saving that story for later on when we were going to get to it. But it has now been ruined. Thanks a lot, Brett.
Sorry. Then obviously I made the trip to Baltimore, which apparently I got a toll bill in the mail. It's $77. Did not know about that. Nice. I have to ask for an e-transfer later. Anyway, so we did have a few breweries that we did hit. So the first one was Checker Spot, which is kind of ironic because I think they moved locations within like a couple weeks.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah, right after. Yep. Diamondback, we didn't get much of Diamondback, unfortunately. There's some other things that were happening in terms of hotel rooms and...
Just trying to... The logistics.
Logistics of everything.
Where we're supposed to
and then
be.
Uber's kind of getting us back there. It was
a whole thing.
It just wasn't, working.
Just wasn't jiving.
Yeah, it wasn't jiving. Then we went to Mobtown, which was actually a very nice brewery. Very, very busy. The Ministry of Brewing, which is an old church.
Now, Brett, do you remember much of the Ministry of Brewing? Like, how much did you enjoy that?
The Ministry of Brewing, let me tell you, I was praying.
You were praying. Why were you praying?
I had a certain poisoning take me over.
Alcohol poisoning.
No, it was not that.
You say that.
If it was alcohol poisoning, I would have been able to drive from Philadelphia to Baltimore.
Sure you could have.
I don't know.
Absolutely could have. You think you got food poisoning?
I can confirm that.
I can confirm that is not true.
And the reason I have probably more than I should have the night before. Absolutely, I will definitely
way too
agree
much
with that.
And this is the reason why I say it's not. You can eat a hot dog raw. You can't get food poisoning from that. It's just not possible. You can literally eat a hot dog raw. And you're out here saying you got food poisoning from a hot dog.
I think here was the issue that we have is I hate hot dogs and I had a hot dog.
Well, who's to blame?
Carlos.
Yeah.
And Danny.
Oh my God.
Anyway, there's a lot of praying going on. I did have something from a tap there though.
Water?
Yes, H2O. It was lovely. And then I also walked to a variety store, the sketchiest variety store I've ever been to get some Pepto-Bismol. And then I did end up having mega bed by myself.
Yeah, you were done for the night.
Yeah, I was done.
The rest of us took a walk, actually, to Top Golf.
Yep. Which I'm sure was a lovely time. I've Top Golf before, so I know what it's like.
Yeah,
Just having Top Golf with, the 10 of you.
Yeah, it was good to do something different. Get out and go for a walk.
Yep, absolutely. Nice fresh air, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a stabbing on the way there that just happened shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I saw a robbery. I was thinking about coming, so I got down to the lobby, walk outside, saw a robbery, and I was like, I don't know if I want to walk
that was
that
a
by
stabbing.
myself. Maybe the same one? Who knows?
They robbed the chicken and stabbed somebody for the chicken.
So anyway, obviously we had some nap time.
You did?
Needed.
Yep.
And then Sunday morning we woke up, had some breakfast. I had a very non-edible English muffin that I could have thrown against a wall and probably wouldn't have broken. It was very terrible.
The wall probably would have.
And then we went to Pickle's Pub, which is across from Camden Yards.
Yeah.
Busy spot 2 hours before a game.
Good spot, though.
Could hear a pin drop in there during the game.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I enjoyed Pickle's Pub a
Yes,
lot.
it's very
We'll talk about that.
And then we went, obviously, to Camden Yards, which is a very, very beautiful ballpark. It does help that the Orioles are doing well this year as well.
Did you think it was a beautiful ballpark?
I did, actually. The AC at the warehouse was delightful in the 6th inning. Let me tell you, because it was hot.
I don't know. I kind of expected more. It was nice just to see the factory on the right-hand side and kind of walk through. But I almost think that it's too modern. Like they modernized it more than what I would have thought it would have been. You know what I mean? Like it kind of lost some of that
Which is
charm
kind of
a
funny
little bit.
because it was built in 1994.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, though. It's like
They made some changes to it, yeah.
Yeah, like again, I thought it'd be a little bit more of a historic-ish kind of ballpark.
fair enough.
The concourse that runs on the outside ring on the lower level was beautiful, but then when we kind of moved up to where the seats were,
Yeah, just kind of your basic.
well, you couldn't
ballpark.
see anything. You couldn't look
Yeah.
in unless it was like those tunnels, which was very much Roger Center-esque
Yeah.
pre-renovations, which was always a problem because when you're walking around, you really want to see that. Down in the main concourse, you kind of could. But yeah, I was expecting a little bit more. I'm not going to lie.
No, fair.
Yeah.
It's still a beautiful spot, beautiful
Sure,
ballpark.
yeah.
They also had some good craft options, including an Eddie Murray inspired IPA brewed by Union Craft, which actually was a very good IPA.
Great can, too.
A great can.
Beautiful
Great can.
I
wish
wanted
I
to
would've
keep that
saved
can.
it. Yeah.
I know.
Damn.
All right, so we got some information here, some questions by producer Chad. Overall beers, what brewery did you think was the best?
For myself, obviously you can't really say Human Robot because you're thrown off by the Underberg and that milk tube.
True.
Despite the way that I was feeling, I will say that the overall brewery that looked the best had to be the Ministry of Brewing.
Okay.
I mean, and overall looks and feel. When it came to actual beers itself,
See, you jumped to question.
I did
too. Yeah,
because
we're just
I
talking
wanted
overall
to.
beers.
I like that.
So
And
overall
mostly 'cause
beers,
I didn't have my beer queued up in terms of the one that I had I liked the most. So give me a second.
So the producer says other half for beers, and I would agree. I think we got a flight there. I think we actually had the exact same flight. So some really good ones there. They do an anniversary beer. It was solid beer. Some good IPAs with some nice flavor. I think that's really kind of what they kind of specialize in, and that's what we're having right now. So yeah, overall beers, we're gonna go with other half. Brett, do you have anything or no?
Yes, other half would be the one that I would give the highest rated beer to.
Perfect.
Yes.
The Brewery Tap House. Producer Chad says Ministry of Brewing, which Brett kind of alluded to by skipping ahead. Seems like that's what he's doing this episode. It was pretty kind of cool with the old church. Also like the Diamondbacks, but it was really, really small, Chad says. There was a large patio that kind of ran alongside the building. But there was a wedding reception engagement party that was happening there at the time. That's the one that we missed out on. I had one beer, absolutely delicious. I think if I would have stayed there, I would have had more beers.
They did have an orange creamsicle sour that I would like to have a little more of. And the pizza looked dynamite as well.
I did have a slice of somebody's leftover pizza. Also very delicious. Unfortunately, just based on circumstances, we couldn't stay and we couldn't get there in time. So, all right, for myself, overall beers, other half is mentioned. And then I want to say for Mobtown, it wasn't actually their restaurant, but they had a food truck outside that made a fantastic smash burger. One of the best I've ever had.
There you go.
I also think Checker Spot had a very good vibe to it. I hope that they keep that when their new location, which they're going to be in by now. Yeah. And then, as I was mentioning, the best beer wasn't actually from a brewery at all. It was that Mango Cart after the fact in Xfinity. So thanks for talking about that earlier, Brett.
You're welcome.
We also found out in the hotel that we stayed at, it was on tap, but we didn't have it because the bar was closed.
That's right.
But it was on the tap there when we were leaving.
That's
we
right,
should have
yes.
took the tap handle.
Yes, we should have. Absolutely.
We also left at like 5:30 in the morning on the Monday.
Yes.
We could probably unscrew that puppy and took a walk.
Yes.
We don't condone that, by the way.
Anyway, so Pickle's Pub versus Monk's in terms of the bars. What would you give your one to? Would you give it to Pickle's Pub or Monk's?
Yeah, well, Chad's dad yelled at me and told me to calm down. But we're in a pub; you're supposed to be loud. So I'm going to not say
He
Monk's.
does that all the time. That wasn't.
Yeah, I know. So no Monk's for me. I think Pickle's Pub was actually great.
Yes,
had some good drink there.
Yeah. I can't remember. You had a shot that was on the waiter. I can't remember what
the bartender paid for it.
Was it a pickle flavored shot or just something? I assumed it was kind of like a dill pickle shot, but
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I think somebody said minty. It was a mint to it. I think is what it was. Yeah, Pickle's Pub was good. Again, kind of good atmosphere on that. We were tucked in the back, which was kind of nice too because then
we got there early enough because it got pretty busy.
Got
pretty
super
quickly.
busy. I'm trying to think of what we had. What was it, like Oreo juice or something? I don't know. I can't really remember, but something like that. It was.
Yeah, it was like an orange. I had an orange crush thing. Remember that?
Yeah. It was good.
And a couple beers.
A good picture of that. Spread that around. Have some
exactly.
fun. The final question posed here by producer Chad: would we go back?
I would go back to everything except for downtown Philadelphia. That's a little sketch.
We saw a robbery / stabbing.
That was in Baltimore.
Downtown. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you'd go back there?
But Philadelphia smells so bad.
Okay, so it's not sketch. It's smelly.
It's just like you walk out and you're just like, this is a dump.
Okay.
But would I go back to Citizens Bank? Yes. Would I like to go to maybe like a Eagles game, even though I'm not an Eagles fan? Like go back to Philadelphia again? Absolutely.
Sure.
Baltimore, yeah, I'd go back again. Hopefully I feel better next time when I'm in Baltimore. But don't eat hot dogs in Philadelphia beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd go back to both places. So when producer Chad gets married again, we'll go back again.
Yeah. I mean, I probably won't go back, to be honest, but would I go back? Sure. I think that we
I'm
didn't
not going back anytime soon.
Yeah, we didn't really see a whole lot of like the cities,
Yeah, fair
right?
enough.
Which would be kind of nice to see some of the stuff that like Philadelphia is like known for,
Like Liberty Bell and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah. We learned some knowledge about Philadelphia and how the name came to be, which
Latin.
which is good.
We
but-
saw some really good bridges.
Yeah,
and
and
tunnels.
that's the same thing with Baltimore. I would like to actually go see some of the cities, and unfortunately, we were in a vehicle most of the time, going back and forth. The only time that we actually really walked once was to Topgolf, and then I guess walking back from the ball game was the other
I
time.
believe we went from the Hotel to Monks too.
Yes, that block and a half. Yeah, really got to see a lot of the city.
But you are also welcome from getting you to point A to point B the whole weekend.
Yeah. No, I said thank you.
Yeah.
So.
I know you did. It was a great time, and we all had fun.
Yeah,
I had fun for 80% of it,
I had fun
but
for
it was
100%.
it was still a good time.
There you go. All right, that's going to be it for today's producer special. Thanks again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for these unique producer specials.
Remember to drink responsibly and don't drink and drive, especially when you're doing like a 10-hour drive from Ontario down to Philadelphia.
Or an hour flight. So
Yes.
from all of us, I'm producer Chad, minus Chris.
I'm Brett.
I'm still Tyler.
Yes, you are.
And together, we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.